Ichit Kusushi no Slow Life Isekai ni Sukuro Drugstore is a generic isekai anime, but instead of power fantasy, here the main character opens a drugstore. So the synopsis of the story goes like, when a corporate slave Reiji suddenly got transported to another world, he made the best of his skills to make better potions, which earned him a lot of money, and with that money, he made a drugstore. An elf who has trouble aiming with his bow gave him some eye drops. A dragon who always breathes out fire unintentionally. Don't worry, we have cough medicine for you. Reiji's new fun slow life as a pharmacist in a village drugstore starts now. Since ancient times, the citizens of Salutania have lived within a shroud of miasma, a force that brings forth monsters, creating havoc around the world. When the kingdom's order of knights becomes incapable of containing the monsters, the Grand Magus summons a holy maiden, the legendary saint, to obliterate horrid creatures and restore peace. One evening, as Sei Takanashi returns home from a long day at work, a magical force pulls her into a foreign world. Upon her arrival to the kingdom of Salutania, she overhears that the Grand Magus mistakenly summoned two saints, Sei and a brown-haired girl. Needing only one holy maiden, the prince declares the other girl as a saint, leaving Sei to her own devices. Sei sets her sight on the Medicinal Flora Research Institute, an establishment known for its studies regarding herbs and potions. While indulging in her latest passion, Sei has a fateful encounter with the commander of Third Order of Knights, Tsukiga Michibuku Isekai Doshu is an adventure comedy fantasy series. The fantasy centers around Makoto Fumisumi, an ordinary high school boy summoned to an alternate world as a brave warrior. Unfortunately, the goddess of the world said with disdain, "Your face is ugly," stripped him of his title and banished him to the outermost fringes of the wilderness. While wandering the wilderness, Makoto encounters dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarfs, and all sorts of non-human species. Due to difference in environment from his homeworld, Makoto now exhibits extraordinary powers in magic combat that she survives in this world. While dealing with various encounters, the curtain rises on the alternate world social reform fantasy of a boy forsaken by the gods and humans. In role-playing games, slimes are usually the easiest monster to kill, and because of that, they yield few experience points. But what would happen if you live long enough to keep defeating them for 300 years? After many years of being a corporate slave, Azusa Aizawa abruptly passes away due to severe exhaustion. Seemingly headed for the afterlife, she meets a goddess who bestows her with immortality alongside a peaceful life in another world. There, Azusa enjoys her days tending to her farm, protecting the nearby village, and killing about 25 slimes per day, a routine that continues for at least 3 centuries. However, this rather monotonous cycle begins to change when Azusa suddenly finds out that she has reached level 99, the maximum possible level from slimes alone. Despite desperately trying to hide this fact in fear of ending her slow life, rumors of her strength spread nevertheless. Soon enough, various people throughout the continent, some seeking a battle, others asking for assistance. Amakawa Haruto is a young man who died before reuniting with his childhood friend who disappeared 5 years ago. Ryo is a boy living in the slums who wants revenge for his mother who was murdered in front of him when he was 5 years old. Earth and another world, two people with completely different backgrounds and values. For some reason, the memory and personality of Haruto, who should have died, is resurrected in Ryo's body. As the two are confused over their memories and personalities fusing together, Ryo decides to live in this new world. Along with Haruto's memories, Ryo awakens an unknown special power, and it seems that if he uses it well, he can live a better life. But before that, Ryo encounters a kidnapping that turns out to be a princess of Bertram Kingdom he lives in. After saving the princess, Ryo is given a scholarship at the Royal Academy, a school for rich and powerful. Being a poor orphan in a school of nobles, turns out to be an extremely detestable place to be. Kinji Ninomiya is a NEET who has amassed enough money through real estate investment to fund a penthouse lifestyle without ever having to work. This, however, changes when a portal suddenly transports him to a fantasy world, but not in a grand fantasy of a hero welcome with open arms. Instead, he quickly ends up enslaved to a mining company extracting crystals from a dungeon. Desperate for a way out of this new poverty, Kinji tries to regain financial stability by any means necessary, gathering himself an unusual adventuring party, the Make You Black Company, in the process. The day is as normal as it can be in house school as the students peacefully go about their everyday activities until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, a handful of students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as nobles, princesses, and other kinds of people with prestigious backgrounds. One girl, however, is not so lucky, being reborn as a spider of the weakest kind. She immediately experiences the hardship of her dire situation. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like that of an RPG, tries her best to hunt prey, defeat monsters, to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded, that she will be granted a better life. As the chief operative of the villainous Kisaragi Corporation, Sentoin Rokugo receives order to help the organization conquer the entire universe, tasked with infiltrating the Kingdom of Grace, a mission that could change the fate of world. Rokugo mistakenly believes that his skills as a combatant are super. To ensure the success, Alice Kisaragi, an exceptional android with a youthful appearance named after the company itself, is assigned to be Rokugo's travel companion. Upon their arrival at the outskirts of Kingdom, Alice and Rokugo encounter Snow, the commander of country's royal guard. Snow leads the pair to broken legendary artifact, and Rokugo changes the recitation of the sacred ritual to an embarrassing phrase. As punishment, the Princess of Kingdom forces Rokugo to become an honorary knight, fulfilling part of his mission. Having infiltrated the kingdom's inner circle, Rokugo must now help his new employer, all while perpetuating evil deeds as a combatant of the Kisaragi Corporation. After the death of his grandfather, 19-year-old Kazuya Soma, an aspiring civil servant, is left all alone with no one to call family. Out of the blue, he is transported to the Elfrieden Kingdom, a small alien country in another world, to be a hero. And ongoing, the demon army has put the entire world in peril, and Kazuya was summoned to aid in the conflict as an offering from Elfrieden to its allies. Dissatisfied with being used as tribute, Kaguya decides to help the kingdom revamp its declining economy, not by way of adventuring or war, but through administrative reform. Abruptly declared the king of Elfrieden and betrothed to the princess, the realistic hero Kazuya sets out to assemble a group of talented citizens who will assist him in his bureaucratic battles to get the kingdom back on its feet. Despite being bullied, scorned, and oppressed all his life, a 34-year-old Shatin still found the resolve to attempt something heroic, only for it to end in a tragic accident. But in a twist of fate, he awakens in another world as Ryudo's Grey Rat, starting life again as a baby, born to two loving parents. Preserving his memories and knowledge from his previous life, Ryudo quickly adapts to his new environment. With the mind of a grown adult, he starts to display magical talent that exceeds all expectation. As Ryudo's second chance at life begins, he tries to make the most of his new opportunity while conquering his traumatic past, and perhaps one day he may find the one thing he could not find in his old world.